Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be creating this look that you see right here for a drugstore back to school makeup look. If you want to see how I created this look, go ahead and keep watching. So for this drugstore back to school makeup look, I'm going to start off using the Maybelline Super Stay Full Coverage Powder Foundation. Mine is in Porcelain, and I'm just going to use my Up and Up foundation brush to apply this. I really like this brush because it is really flat and dense. So I'm just going to apply that. And I think this is the perfect foundation for back to school because it's really easy and fast to apply, especially when you're like running late. Just always make sure when you're using a powder foundation, you just always have to make sure that you do moisturize so that you don't look dry and stuff. But they're really simple to use. And you see like the difference in the coverage just right away. Like, I'm going to be going in now with concealer, and I'm going to be using the Instant Age Rewind. This is one of the best concealers from the drugstore just because it's not too thick, it's not too thin, it's like pretty much in the middle, and it does cover really well. And the good thing about this one for me is I feel like it does not like crease up really bad, because some of them from the drugstore are like seriously bad at creasing up, and I really hate that. And the thing is it's not too full coverage, so it kind of matches with the powder foundation. Like, it doesn't look too much like, oh my gosh, you're wearing full coverage concealer and like light to medium coverage foundation. So it really kind of blends in with the rest of your skin. Not too thick or anything, so it's really good. I usually just go ahead and set my under eye with my favorite powder from the drugstore, which is CoverGirl Clean. Mostly any of the CoverGirl powders I like. They're super fine and they do not like look super cakey or powdery when you apply them. So I usually always love to set my eyes with this one, always. It's always my go-to. Next thing I'm going to go in and use is going to be the e.l.f. This is the Ultimate Precise Brow Pencil. These are super affordable and I love these. What shade is this? Natural brown. Mine is a little lighter than what I usually would go for, but the lighter one than this is like super too light, but it matches me pretty well, I think. And they do have one or two shades darker than this too, so you probably will be able to find one that really goes well with your eyebrows. If you're like on a budget and you need a whole bunch of new stuff for back to school, and spending too much on makeup is not one of your main priorities, but you still want to have some great back to school makeup, then definitely you want to reach for this one because it really is a good option. But I do love this one. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to go for is going to be to bronze up, and my absolute favorite bronzers from the drugstore are literally Wet n Wild. Seriously, Wet n Wild bronzers are the best. These are their newer ones. This one is in Sunset Striptease. You can see it. It does have a little bit of shimmer in it, but they have one or two that are not like super shimmery if you don't want shimmer in it. It's not that noticeable though, so it's not that big of a deal. And I just take a little brush, go across my cheeks. So like on a morning when you're super running late, it's so easy just to throw on that powder foundation, throw on a little bronzer. Seriously. Just bronze up a little. I think I'm good to go. And I'm gonna go in with an e.l.f. blush. This one is a little bit deep. It's bright pink, but it's that perfect like pinky girly color. They do have a lighter one if you prefer a little bit lighter. You don't need a lot. You just barely tap it in like really lightly. I always blow it off and then I slightly start applying it. You see how it like, you barely need any. Be careful because if you just go crazy and really dip it in there, it will be super pigmented. But if you just do it lightly and blow it off, it's like that perfect flush. See that? Okay, now for highlighter, I'm gonna also go in with a Wet n Wild product. Again, for the drugstore, for highlighters, they have e.l.f. and Wet n Wild are great options because they're more affordable. I'm not gonna say no other brand has great options because there are tons now at the drugstore. They have the Maybelline ones, they have, you know, Milani, but for me, especially I'm back to school, if you're spending a lot of money already on your clothes, on your, you know, school supplies, new shoes, new, you know, maybe a new laptop, all this stuff, if you're buying all this stuff, then you're gonna be wanting to spend, I mean, save a little money somewhere. So if you can get great drugstore makeup and get more for your money, then go with e.l.f. and Wet n Wild. Seriously, you can bring up your collection and still have like extra money, seriously. Okay, so for eyeliner today, I'm just going to be going in with NYX Wonder Pencil. I love this because since it's kind of like a pinky nude, it's still, it like brightens up your eyes. So like when you're going back to school and you're, you know, like absolutely exhausted and have bags and you're super tired, this will kind of like make you look awake even if you're not. Like seriously, once you apply your concealer and apply this, you're gonna look a lot more awake than you did. And if this one is too expensive for you, because I think this one is close to $10, Rimmel has one that's like $6 or less bucks. The same kind of shade, just get the Rimmel one. And then for my eyeshadow, I'm first just gonna go in with a base, which I usually always do. This is Wet n Wild Creme Brulee. I always use this as my base. And this kind of helps brighten my eyes as well and prepare it for the other eyeshadow that I'm wearing. But I literally just apply a couple strokes of it to my whole eyelid. Give me a little extra coverage and prepare my eye. Then I'm just gonna go in and use this Morphe palette. This is the 350 palette. And for back to school, Morphe is super affordable, and now that they sell it at Ulta, it's really easy to get a hold of, you know? So you don't have to order it online or nothing like that. You can just go into Ulta and get it. But I like this one because it has perfect fall shades. Like how many fall shades are in here? But it also has neutrals up here and lighter ones if you're wanting to go a little lighter for the day. I'm gonna go in with this beige-ish shade right here. And I'm just going to apply that in my transition and my crease. And I'm gonna be using this Wet n Wild. This is one of the newer, what is this, blending? I think this is one of the blending ones. The fluffy blending one. It's a little bit smaller than the bigger one they had. I don't know if they discontinued that one or what, but the last time I was at the drugstore looking at Wet n Wild brushes, I couldn't find, like I have all these, pardon how dirty they are. These ones need to be washed. But I have like these ones that I really love, but if you can tell the difference on how fluffy this one is and how smaller this one is, it's the same type, just smaller. So basically I'm just using the smaller one, and I really think that it is called a blending brush. Okay, so just go in with that on the other eye too. Just going to look like awake. Gives you that little bit of coverage. All right. Then I'm gonna go in with this shade over here that's a little bit more like peachy kind of. And I'm gonna apply that in my crease and slightly in the transition, not all the way up, just a little bit. Just like so. Same thing, just in the crease and slightly above, and I am going across the eyelid a little bit. So now I'm just gonna go in and take this kind of like deeper, it is peachy, but it's also kind of like orangey pink at the same time, like reddish. So I'm gonna take that one and I'm just going to use this Wet n Wild. It's kind of like a tapered blending brush. And I'm going to take that and I'm just gonna lightly tap it in that shade and just apply all over my eyelid and up into the crease. The tapered brushes are good for that because you can get flat against your eyelid and still get in the crease at the same time. Just deepening that shade just a little bit. So now I'm just going to pick up a little bit of a shimmer shade and I'm going to choose this pink one that's right next to the one we just were in. And I'm going to be using a Wet n Wild flat eyeshadow brush. And I'm gonna just spray it with some e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set a little bit and just go in to that shimmer shade. And I'm going to apply that right on top of the eyelid. Like so. I do really like this flat eyeshadow brush too because I can just precisely go any way I want because the tip is so like straight and flat. So it kind of lightened up our lid shade that gave us a good base. Do the same thing on the other eye. Sometimes I start tapping it first, sometimes I start dragging it first. It just depends on my mood. So it's like, this is a really good school look because it's not too dramatic, but it's still pretty at the same time. Okay, once we get that applied, we'll just go back in with that little blending brush and a little more of that deepest shade and go right above, like so, to just deepen up the crease just a little bit. All right, I'm gonna go back in with the same Wet n Wild highlighter. And I'm going to take a little Wet n Wild, I believe they call this the small concealer brush. And I'm just gonna take some of that highlighter and I'm going to place it on my inner corner really quickly and my brow bone. You can totally skip the brow bone and inner corner if you're in a hurry or if you just want to be a little more subtle and not too glam for school. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with my lip product. I'm going to be using an LA Girl lip liner. This one is their Perfect Precision lip liner in blushing. Just gonna apply it. You can totally go more nude with this look for school. I wanted to go for more of a like rosy kind of nude. So I'm going to be going in with e.l.f. This is their liquid matte lipstick in Blushing Rose. I am going to go ahead and apply my mascara off camera, and I will return. I'm going to be using the Voluminous Lash Paradise by L'Oreal. I will be right back. I am back. I have applied my mascara. Now that is it for this drugstore back to school makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me and getting ready. Please leave a comment down below if you will be recreating this back to school drugstore makeup look. And please don't forget to like and subscribe before leaving, and I will definitely see you guys in my next video. Bye!